What happens when Hollywood royalty steps into the lion's den of daytime television? You won't believe the chaos that erupts when Meghan Markle sits down with Joy Behar and The View co-hosts in what was supposed to be a routine promotional interview. This isn't just another celebrity appearance gone sideways. It's a masterclass in how quickly live television can spiral completely out of control. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and drop a comment, because you're about to witness a clash of two powerhouses in the most explosive way possible. The tension was palpable. The moment Meghan walked onto the set, what began as a simple book promotion quickly morphed into one of the most heated confrontations in daytime TV history. She arrived in a cream-colored blazer, that signature confident smile in place. Yet seasoned viewers could sense the storm brewing beneath the surface. Joy Behar, never one to hold back, clearly came ready for battle. "Welcome back to The View. We're here with Meghan Markle," she announced, that familiar edge in her voice signaling trouble ahead. The studio audience applauded politely, but the energy was forced, strained. Meghan crossed her legs with practiced elegance, but her grip on her coffee mug betrayed the first crack in her composure. "Meghan, thank you for being here," Joy continued, her tone hinting that this wouldn't be a typical softball interview. "You're here to talk about your new children's book, but I think viewers might be more curious about your other projects lately." The co-hosts exchanged knowing glances. Whoopi Goldberg leaned back with that look that said drama was imminent. Sarah N. fidgeted nervously, while Sunny Hostin maintained her poker face, pen ready to strike when opportunity arose. "Well, Joy, I'm excited to talk about anything that helps children develop empathy and understanding," Meghan replied, her media training kicking in automatically, but there was a subtle defensiveness, a note Joy immediately sensed. "Empathy and understanding," Joy repeated slowly, letting the words hang like smoke in the air. "That's interesting, because I've been wondering about the empathy and understanding you've shown your own family lately." A hush fell over the studio. Even the camera operators seemed to hold their breath. This was the first real jab. Meghan's smile faltered just slightly, but recovered. "Family relationships are complicated, Joy," she said firmly. "I've always believed in handling private matters privately." Yet her voice now carried an edge. Sunny jumped in, smelling opportunity. "But Meghan, when you put your family business on international TV, in interviews, Netflix documentaries, can you really call it private anymore?" The audience murmured their approval. This was the moment they came to see the kind of direct questioning most interviewers wouldn't dare attempt. Meghan straightened her Duchess composure, sparring with her instinct to defend herself. "There's a difference between sharing your truth and exploiting family drama for entertainment," she shot back. Joy's eyes lit up like a predator spotting a wounded animal. "Your truth. That's very California of you. But what about everyone else's truth? Your father's truth, your sister's truth." "My father chose to work with the tabloids against me," Meghan said, her voice rising. "That's not my truth. That's a fact." "Sweetheart," Joy continued, dripping condescension, "don't you think there might be more to the story? Maybe, just maybe, you played a role in how things went down." The co-hosts watched like spectators at a tennis match. Whoopi remained silent, letting Joy do the heavy lifting. Sarah fidgeted, visibly uncomfortable, while Sunny appeared to be taking mental notes for later. Meghan sipped her coffee, buying time. When she set the mug down, her hand trembled slightly, barely noticeable. But HD cameras captured everything. "Joy, I came here to talk about children's literacy and empowerment, not to relitigate family drama the media has already dissected ad nauseum," she said, trying to regain control. "But that's just it." Joy pressed relentlessly. "You can't separate the two, can you? You want to talk about empowering children, but what kind of example are you setting when you cut off your own family? When you make accusations on international TV without letting them defend themselves?" The audience was completely engaged. Some nodded in agreement with Joy, others sympathetic toward Meghan. The split reaction made for television gold and social media frenzy. Meghan's jaw tightened visibly. "I think that's a very unfair characterization of what happened," Meghan said, her voice firm but measured. "My family had multiple opportunities to defend themselves. They chose to work with the tabloids instead of working with me. Or maybe," Sunny interjected smoothly, "they felt they had no choice but to defend themselves publicly, because you were already doing your defending publicly. When you tell Oprah that someone in the royal family made racist remarks about your son, that's not exactly private, is it?" The gloves were off. Meghan turned sharply toward Sunny, her composure flickering just enough to reveal the fire underneath. "Are you seriously questioning whether I should have spoken up about racism directed at my child?" She shot back. "I'm questioning the timing, the venue, and the lack of specificity that allowed people to draw conclusions and potentially implicate innocent people," Sunny said with surgical precision. Joy jumped in, seizing the opening to escalate. "And speaking of timing, isn't it convenient that all these revelations came out right when you needed to rehabilitate your public image? Right when you needed to justify walking away from your royal duties?" Meghan's eyes flashed dangerously. Convenient. Do you think it was convenient for me to relive the most traumatic experiences of my life on international television? Convenient to have my mental health struggles dissected by millions of people? The tension in the studio reached a boiling point. What had begun as pointed questions had turned deeply personal and volatile. Joy leaned forward, a predatory gleam in her eyes. The lights seemed hotter, the silence heavier, as everyone braced for the next verbal blow. Mental health struggles, Joy repeated slowly, dripping with skepticism. You know, Meghan, I've been in this business for decades. I've seen plenty of people use mental health as a shield when they get called out for their behavior. Are we really supposed to believe that you, someone who worked as an actress under Hollywood pressure, suddenly couldn't handle being a royal? The audacity of the question sent shockwaves through the studio. Gasps rippled through the audience. Whoopi raised an eyebrow, staying strategically silent. Sarah shifted uncomfortably, while Sunny's calculating eyes evaluated the fallout. Meghan's face went pale, then flushed red with anger. Her hands clenched into fists on the table. Are you seriously questioning the validity of my mental health struggles? Are you suggesting I made up having suicidal thoughts? I'm suggesting, Joy said ruthlessly, that you have a pattern of playing the victim whenever things don't go your way. First with your family, then with the royal family, and now, apparently with anyone who dares ask tough questions. The studio erupted. Some booed Joy. Others applauded. Cameras zoomed in on every micro-expression, every subtle gesture. This was television gold, a moment destined for endless replay. Meghan abruptly stood, her chair rolling back. I will not sit here and be lectured about victim mentality by someone who built a career attacking people on TV. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy. Joy shot back, rising as well. I'm asking the questions millions of people want answered on. You're acting like I'm the problem. Sunny seized her moment. Meghan, sit down. Let's talk like adults. You came here knowing we ask hard questions. You can't just promote your book and ignore the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. Meghan whirled on her, composure shattered. You mean the fact that I married into a family that couldn't accept a biracial woman? That I endured racist attacks from the British press while my husband's family stood by? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sunny pressed relentlessly. You paint yourself as the victim of racism, but what about the staff who left your employment? The reports of bullying. Are they all lies too? The question landed like a sledgehammer. Meghan's mouth fell open, a mix of shock and fury. Bullying. You're bringing up unsubstantiated allegations, clearly planted to discredit me. Whoopi finally spoke, cutting through the chaos. Hold up, Meghan. I've been quiet this whole time, but now you're losing me. You can't dismiss every criticism as palace manipulation. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. The word hit Meghan like a punch. Betrayal flared in her eyes. Whoopi, probably expected to be an ally, had just delivered a devastating blow. The audience sat on the edge of their seats, phones raised. Despite security, responsibility, Meghan's voice cracked, trembling with fury and raw emotion. I took responsibility, Meghan said, voice trembling but resolute. I walked away from a toxic situation. I protected my family. What more do you want from me? Joy leaned forward, sensing the kill shot. We want honesty. Meghan, stop hiding behind buzzwords and PR talking points. Just be real with us. Admit that maybe, just maybe, you made mistakes. Admit you're not the perfect victim you've painted yourself to be. Perfect victim, Meghan repeated, her voice rising to a near. You think I wanted any of this? You think I wanted the press attacking me every day? My father's selling stories about me. To be pushed to the point where I didn't even want to be alive? The raw emotion in her voice hung in the studio like a storm. Joy didn't flinch. I think you made choices, she countered. And now you want sympathy without accountability. You want to be seen as a victim without owning the consequences of your actions. Sarah Haynes tried to intervene, her voice calm but hesitant. Maybe we should take a step back. Don't you dare manage me. Meghan cut her off sharply. I came here to talk about children's literacy. And instead, I'm being ambushed by a panel that made up their minds before I even walked through that door. Sunny leaned in, her tone hard and deliberate. Ambushed. You've told your side of the story on every major platform. This is the first time anyone's actually challenged your narrative. If you can't handle that, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. The words landed like a gauntlet. Meghan stared at her, chest heaving, rage barely contained. The studio was silent, save for the hum of cameras and faint city noise. You want to challenge my narrative? Meghan said quietly, dangerously. Fine, let's talk about narratives. Let's talk about how this show makes money tearing down successful women. About how you sit here judging people while hiding behind the guise of asking questions. Joy's eyes lit up with anticipation. This is it, she thought. The moment her guest would snap, revealing her true nature. Oh, here we go. Now we're seeing the real Meghan Markle, the one who can't handle criticism without lashing out. Meghan's gaze blazed as she pointed directly at Joy. You want to know what attacking people looks like? It looks like a 78-year-old who built a career off other people's pain. It looks like sitting here pretending to be a feminist icon while systematically tearing down women who threaten your relevance. The studio went dead silent. Cameras froze mid-zoom. Joy's mouth dropped open. In decades on television, no guest had ever gone for the jugular like this. Co-hosts froze, unsure whether to intervene or watch the train wreck continue. Joy recovered first, voice shaking with fury. "Excuse me, did you just call me irrelevant? I was doing television when you were still trying to land acting gigs on cable shows nobody watched. And yet here you are, attacking mental health on live TV for ratings. Tell me, Joy," Meghan shot back, "when was the last time anyone cared about your opinion on anything that wasn't controversy for controversy's sake?" Sunny jumped in, prosecutor instincts firing. "Meghan, you're out of line. Joy has championed women's rights longer than you've been in the public eye." Meghan whipped towards Sunny, venom in her tone. "Women's rights, is that what we're calling this? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like for middle-aged women ganging up on someone for walking away from a situation that was literally killing her." Finally, Whoopi stood, her presence commanding even in chaos. "Hold up, you don't get to come into our house and insult us because you don't like the questions we're asking." Meghan laughed bitterly. "Your house? This isn't your house, Whoopi. This is a television studio. The only difference is I was honest enough to admit when the performance was destroying me." The personal attacks had crossed every line. Joy's face was flushed red with anger and embarrassment. She had expected victory, but Meghan was giving as good as she got, and the audience was eating it up. "You know your problem," Joy snarled, abandoning all pretense of composure. "You think because you married a prince, you're untouchable. You think you can play the victim and nobody's allowed to call you out." Joy snapped. "And you know what your problem is," Meghan fired back, voice dripping with contempt. "You're a bitter old woman who can't stand that someone half your age has achieved more in 5 years than you have in your entire career. You're threatened by strong women who don't need your permission to tell their stories." The insult landed like a blow. Joy's hands trembled with fury as she jabbed a finger at Meghan. "Strong women, you ran from your responsibilities the moment things got hard. You abandoned your family, your duties, and now you play the victim because people won't let you rewrite history." "I saved my family," Meghan screamed, her composure fractured. "I saved my son from growing up in the same toxic environment that destroyed his father and grandfather. I saved my marriage from people who wanted to see it fail. I saved myself from people exactly like you." Sarah Haynes frantically signaled the producers, but the cameras kept rolling. The studio buzzed with tension, half the audience cheering Meghan, the other half backing Joy, a chaotic symphony of divided loyalties. Sunny Holston leaned forward, voice sharp. "Meghan, you can't save yourself by destroying everyone else. Every relationship you've had has ended badly. Your family, the royal family, half of Hollywood. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and ask what the common denominator is." Meghan straightened, voice eerily calm. "The common denominator." Her eyes cut to each host in turn. "The common denominator is people who can't handle a woman refusing to stay silent about injustice. People who are more comfortable with victims who suffer quietly than with survivors who fight back. People who maintain the status quo because it benefits them." She leaned in, gaze burning. "You want to know the real common denominator? It's women like you who tear down other women to feel powerful. It's people who profit from pain while pretending to care about justice." Joy made one last desperate jab. "Oh, spare us the self-righteous lecture. You're not a civil rights icon. You're an actress who married well and now thinks you can teach the world about oppression." That was the final straw. Meghan calmly unclipped her microphone and set it on the table, the gesture loud and deliberate. "You're right, Joy. I'm not here to lecture you about oppression. I'm just qualified to recognize it. And what I see here are 4 women who have forgotten what it means to support each other." She grabbed her purse, stepping back from the table. The studio fell into silence. Every camera locked on her. "I came here to talk about helping children develop empathy and understanding. Instead, I'm reminded why so many people have given up on daytime television. You choose ratings over responsibility, controversy over compassion. That's your choice, but I don't have to be part of it." Whoopi rose, attempting a last olive branch. "Meghan, don't leave like this. We can have a civilized conversation." Meghan paused at the edge of the set, giving a sad smile. "Whoopi, this stopped being civilized the moment Joy questioned whether my mental health struggles were real. Some lines, once crossed, can't be uncrossed." Joy, still fuming, launched one final barb. "Go ahead and run, Meghan. It's what you do best." Meghan's eyes flickered with a brief hurt before Steele returned. She looked past the hosts, addressing viewers at home. "To anyone who's ever been told their pain isn't real, who's been attacked for speaking their truth, who's been called too much or not enough, don't let them silence you. Your story matters, even when it makes people uncomfortable." With that, she turned and walked off the set. Her heels clicked against the floor in the stunned silence. Cameras followed until she disappeared behind the curtain, leaving the hosts staring at the wreckage of what had just transpired. Joy attempted a forced smile to the cameras. "Well, that was certainly something. We'll be right back after this break." But everyone knew, no break could erase what had just happened. The confrontation had exposed raw truths on both sides: Joy's willingness to push ethical boundaries for entertainment, and Meghan's refusal to be cornered or silenced. The internet erupted instantly, clips and hot takes spreading like wildfire. In the end, there were no clear winners. Both women had revealed sides of themselves that would linger in public memory, leaving viewers to decide for themselves who was the villain and what would go down as one of the most explosive moments in daytime television history.